We are going to paint a jellyfish today, and I'm going to be using a lot of colors here. So I've got lemon yellow, carmine, which is a red. You can use red or pink on this, it doesn't matter. And I've also got a purple. This is blue violet in my paint colors. Oh my gosh. And I've got ultramarine deep, so it's a darker blue. And my sky blue cyan, so my lighter blue. So all you really need is just different shades of blues and purples and a little bit of yellow. We're going to be using the rounds brush. I'm going to get some water and just paint inside this jellyfish right here. And I'm going to leave just a little white spot right here on the edge. Because I don't want paint to go there. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of yellow in here. I'm going to make it kind of look like it's glowing inside. So I'm just going to take a little yellow and just let it kind of spread out on its own. Now I'm going to start doing my other colors. So I'm going to get some water on my palette and get some of this red. Now I want it to be pretty diluted because I don't want it to be very vibrant on this red part here. And I am going to just kind of drop that in around a few spots. And I'm going to get my light blue, some water, start dropping that in. You can kind of go a little bit within the red too and get it to kind of mix a little bit if you want. I'm going to get my darker blue. Kind of go towards the outer edge of most of it. Mix a little bit in with the yellow if you want to get some green going. And now I'm going to do some purple. So your purple's kind of just going to be sort of a shadow casting element here. So you don't want to do too much. You can do a little bit inside if you want, just a few little dots here and there, but keep it pretty sparse on the purple. And if we need to go back in and add some of that lighter blue in or something, we can do that. I like to add some little dots here and there. And if you want to do it with your pink or red color, do some dots. And now we're gonna move on next to this little edge right here. So I just want to soften that up just a little bit. So I'm just gonna take water and I'm going to kind of blend that edge in to make it not completely white. I think I actually made it a little too far that way, so I'm gonna kind of go in like that. Get rid of most of the shine. Gonna add a little more purple down here. Just keep playing with it until you're happy with the way it looks. Once this is dry, we'll move on to this little layer right here. But we'll have to wait for it to dry because we don't want it to bleed into these lines that are going right here. Now that this is dry, we can move on to this part. So I want to have my lightest color towards the top, and then my darkest is going to be towards the bottom. So for this, I'm just going to use a little pink. I'm just going to fill in the whole thing with the pink. And then I'm going to move on to my blue. That's a lighter blue. I'm going to do it just below that pink. Just to fill in the bottom half of that. And then on this side as well. I'm going to take my darker blue. My purple. I'm just going to fix that up right there so that we could tell that this is in front of that. Just put a little purple along that edge. And come back in here with a little pink throughout this area. And go back in with a little bit of this. We can tidy that up more later if we need to. We're going to move on to our tendrils. So I think I'm going to do a few yellow in here first. So I've got a little bit of water, but I'm mostly going to be using the yellow paint. And starting up here, push down my brush really hard, and then I'm going to bring it down and lift it up so that it gets skinnier. It's all coming kind of from the center of my jellyfish. I'll do it around 5. And they can overlap a little bit here and there. I might do a few more just to get that. Now I'm gonna let those dry before I do my other colors because it's gonna get muddy otherwise. So we'll go ahead and let this dry. Okay, once we have our dried yellow, we can do our other colors. So I think I'm gonna do the pink next. Get it to the color that you like, enough water in it. And we're gonna try to go in between some of the spaces that we didn't get the yellow, but also overlapping the yellow as well. And you can notice I'm kind of curving it towards the bottom here like it's floating in the water. And I'll let those dry and then I'll do my next one. When I'm waiting on that, I'm actually going to add just a little yellow in here so that it looks like this is more translucent. So if you just get a little yellow on your brush, you can add that in there. You're going to get kind of a green color like it's going through that layer of blue. And I'm going to get some more of my purple too, and I'm just going to run that kind of along this edge. Like it's a shadow. And then I'm also going to run it underneath here just a little bit. I'm using a bit of more water with my purple. I'm going to create a floating bottom part so that you can see where the jellyfish has the other side of it. So I'm just going to kind of do it like that. And now that our red is pretty dry down here, I'm going to go ahead and do my lighter blue color. I'm doing a lot more of that than I did on those other colors. And some of these you want them to stop a little short too. I'm getting mine a little too uniform in length. So you'll want to stop them a little short like I did right there. And I'm going to go ahead and do my darker blue. And then my purple. I'm gonna go back in and just kind of make this a little darker right here, like a shadow almost. I'm gonna take my dark blue back up into my jellyfish and just add it in along this line where I had that purple, and get some water and just blend a little bit out on that. Dry off my brush, kind of paint back towards that wet spot that I just created. And you know, obviously you see it's getting a little rough. You don't want to do too much scrubbing, just kind of have a bit of a dry brush. And keep that. And I've got it over my yellow, which I shouldn't do that. So if you do that, you can take some water and just kind of lift that off, put your brush on your paper towel, and then do it again. And we can always go back with a little more yellow too and try to add that back into there. And I think we're done. If you wanted to wait and then add some more purple in over this or anything like that, if you don't like the green, you can do that. You can add even more tendrils in here than we've got. And thicker tendrils, like if you would rather the center be more and then it has less on the outside, so whatever you like. You can change up the colors and everything too if you wanted to create a different look. You could try doing just oranges, reds, and yellows, or blues only, or whatever you want on these jellyfish. And you could always add a background as well. We're not going to do that on this painting because I prefer the white background when I do jellyfish. Just going to add a little bit of a darker purple line right there on the bottom of the other side of the jellyfish, and then we're done. Looks good. You could also just splatter some blue paint all over it too to give it a more unique feel. So the possibilities are pretty endless with this one.